Hi, welcome to 151 Garage. I'm Sean, this is Susan, and today we're going to work on our steering. So in previous videos, I've already installed the steering box and I've already installed the seat, and I needed the seat installed before I actually figured out where the steering wheel was, because the seat is not going to be adjustable. It's basically sitting where it's going to sit forever. It's not going to be an adjustable seat. And again, if you want to see the previous video about it, I will link it down below, as well as the steering box. So now we have to figure out the steering wheel placement. So with that, we need to figure out the distance away from your body, a distance away from the dash, also the height. We don't want the top of the steering wheel to go right through the gauges. We also don't want the steering wheel to be up into the windshield where it's going to obstruct your view through the tiny windshield we got. So we'll go ahead and start that. I have to make a jig to figure out the height and stuff like that, rather than holding the steering wheel out the entire time. I want to be able to have something that I can easily change, and not only height wise but also distance out from the firewall. And I'll show you how I did that. Okay, cut to that. So that's not going to work. I have to actually tilt the whole thing this way a little bit, because where this sits is basically, that's my view through the gauges. So I won't be able to, the steering will actually run right through my gauges. So this is the size of the steering wheel I want. It's not the steering wheel I want. I just figured this is a cheap alternative so I don't mess up the one I want to get for it. So we'll see. Let me angle it down and see if I can get this up a little bit. That's about the distance I want though. That feels comfortable. So maybe a little bit further that way, but we'll see. Okay, so this right here is kind of like a scrap wood jig, I guess we would call it. So basically it gives me the distance from the back of the steering wheel to the firewall. So that will give me the length of the column I need, the steering column I need. It also shows me where I'm going to have to put the steering column, so when I actually look through the steering wheel, I actually can see both the gauges. Now, where it's at right now, I can see both the gauges, and I'll show you that in a second. But I have a problem, is that the center of the steering column is going to go right through the bottom portion of this dash, which means I'll have to notch the bottom portion of this dash to be able to fit the column through. The other measurement I needed was basically the distance from where the shaft comes out of the top of the firewall and where I need it to come out at the bottom. Now they do make a mechanism that actually goes in on the top, runs down via chain, and goes out at the bottom. But I need to find out exactly how the length of that mechanism I need. Comes in multiple different lengths, but I want to make sure I have a good angle at the bottom here, and it comes up right where my steering column needs to be able to look through the gauges. And I'll show you that right now. Okay, so minus the big piece of wood right in the middle, I do have the two gauges. This is basically right where I'm looking. I'm actually right in eye's view of them. Now it does cut out on the top a little bit and very little on the bottom, but I can see a majority of the gauges. Now where I had it before, where it actually runs at the bottom, it actually sits like this, where it cuts the gauges right in half where you can't see anything. So that's an inherent problem of having the steering wheel about this far down to where I don't have to notch the bottom part of the dash. So when I get the column, I'll be notching the bottom part of the dash with that. So I'll get Jill out here in a second. I'll have her sit in it, see how she likes it, and I'll sit in it once again, make sure everything feels good, and then we'll take the final measurements and order the shaft, or order the steering column. Okay, I got Jill in here. We're gonna take a look. Go ahead and grab the steering wheel. Feel comfortable somewhat? Your arms aren't like straight out. You don't feel like you're like stretching too far. Now, she isn't sitting against the back of the wall. There will be something back there, like a little bit of padding for her. The seat will be moved just a tad bit forward for me. And again, there will be a pad for the back. So the only adjustment we'll have is basically I slouch a little bit more, I lean back a little bit more, and she doesn't. So
probably about like right here would be.
Right there? Okay.
Yeah.
So like a couple inches forward. Yeah. This is pretty much where I was gonna do.
Oh, okay.
So, okay. Can you say how does the gauges look for you?
Beautiful.
No, I mean seeing the holes.
They're good.
Okay.
I can see all the way through it.
Okay. That's what I'm making sure. Oh yeah, they're beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, look at the beautiful gauges.
Look, you can see right
No.
here.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's what I was trying to see. I'm a little bit taller than you, so I was trying to see if you could see the gauges. When I first put the steering wheel on, it cut it right across the middle of the gauges, so I'm making sure that it's...
You can see the whole thing.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay. So go ahead and jump out. Do not grab the steering wheel.
Yeah, I know. You already broke the last one.
I broke, if y'all want to know why it has a different piece of wood, because when I grabbed the steering wheel to help myself out, I ripped the whole piece of wood out. So yeah, that's me.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's not too bad. Steering, brake, pedal, gas pedal, steering wheel. Now granted, I'll be sitting farther back, leaning farther back, so that's perfect. Not too bad. Not way far back, but yeah. So yeah, just a little bit further forward, about the same amount as you, but I won't have the removable pad on my back that Jill will have. So it'll put me right about here, which is perfect. So turns out nice. It's gonna work out very well. So again, we're setting this up to be able to take the measurements, which we've already taken. We already figured out which ones we want, or which steering column we want. And now basically we just have to order it and wait. So it'll be a couple weeks before we get to that point. But again, thank you for joining us. I hope you see you next video, and see you then. Thank you. Bye.